Before we get into what everyone knows that we're going to talk about, real quick, let's just talk a little bit about Illinois and Maryland. I was honestly not all that surprised to see Maryland get this win. If you go back and listen to the Best Bets podcast from this morning, you will hear that I actually bet on Maryland not to win. I bet on them to cover 9.5. But I've gotten to the point where I think everything comes down to matchups for Illinois. Everything comes down to whether or not Kofi Cockburn is going to be able to win his matchup. When he is going up against someone that is his size, that is his physicality, that is his speed, I guess, or lack of speed, and has his ability to kind of play around the basket instead of away from the rim, then it's a good matchup. If you're going up against a team that wants to play a little bit more perimeter oriented, that's going to put him in a lot of different ball screens, then it's a problem. And Maryland is one of the best ball screen teams in the country in terms of how often they run ball screens and how efficient they are in ball screens. Entering this game, they were like 98th percentile according to Synergy in all ball screen actions, which is just like kind of baffling because Maryland stinks. Yeah. So you think if they were really good, like whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, I just think. Well, I know they've won at. How about this? They're 2-5 in the Big Ten, and their wins are at Maryland and at Wisconsin, who might just be the two best teams in the conference. So, like, hey, that's the Big Ten for you. But give me all your takeaways.
I mean, I honestly, I would have to ride with you, like as far as the matchup scenario. It's never good when you have like, especially our Big Ten guys like Iowa, and then you have Illinois. When you get the bigs who are not in their element out there guarding, like having to stay and stunt a little bit longer on the perimeter or stop the ball. It just doesn't suit Kofi's game, like defensively. I mean, obviously you want him to do these things, but it's just, that's the mismatch. And honestly, I don't even think it's just Kofi. It's just putting Illinois in ball screens seems to give them trouble. Like they're great in transition. They have an issue in half court ball screen defense. And if you run on them, I mean, kudos, but for the most part, like Illinois is at its best when they can just keep you running without stopping. Because if they stop, their offense in the half court gets stagnant at times. And if they get to their half court defense and you run sets with ball screens or just ball screen action period to get the big to step away from the paint, they don't have anybody to protect the paint. And it's not like these guys are like keeping you out of the paint, protecting the basket too much. So you have straight line drives. You can pull Kofi out, do whatever you want. It's kind of the way their defense kind of looks.
Yeah, and that's really what it just comes down to for me is when they get in those beneficial matchups, they're really, really good. When they don't get in those beneficial matchups, that's when you kind of see them struggle a little bit, and that's when you really want to bet against. But I've been pretty profitable trying to find those spots betting this year, which is I don't know, just kind of better than me. I do want to give a little bit of credit to Maryland because I actually thought that what they did against Ayo Dosunmu was really interesting. What Illinois loves to run offensively is that kind of like weave action and using that to kind of get into Ayo running off of a ball screen and trying to get downhill, going to his right. Yeah. And Daryl Morcell and Aaron Wiggins did an unbelievable job at like not letting him get to his right hand to get over that ball screen and force him to his left. Now
it's hard.
but like if you want an idea of just how good Ayo Dosunmu is, like I'm sitting here being like, yeah, Maryland did a great job on him. He finished with 23 and 8.
Yeah, exactly. Like
he had 23 and 8.
And the point, and I remember you just now you just said they tried their best to make sure he didn't go downhill, right? And I can remember a couple of times he did it, but I mean, if you can only keep him, if you could limit it to 2 times and then have him fight to earn his 23 points and almost take the rest of the team out of it, then I mean you're playing into the scouting report. Maryland got what they wanted. So
yeah, I think that right there is the key, right? It's the efficiency with which he scores. It's the ease with which he scores. He was 9 for 23 from the floor. You know, for the most part, when he's getting his numbers, he's not taking a lot of shots to do it. And they made him have to work for that 23. Like he had 10 points with 11 minutes left in the second half. And then so I was watching the game and Robbie Hummel, shout out to Robbie Hummel, part of the Field of 68 Media Network. And so he's like, man, they're doing such a great job on Ayo. Like they're really locking him down. And Ayo scored like 9 points in literally the next like 48 seconds. And Robbie's just like, well, now he's got 19. They still did a good job on him, but now he's got 19.
I mean, that's just a credit to him, man. He's a great player. And there's only so much you can do when you're playing against great players. Like it's tough, but as long as you keep the rest of the guys from getting into their thing, like these two, Coburn and Ale went out there and did what they were supposed to do, and no one else could do anything else. And they win, and Maryland wins the game. So done deal.
I mean,
so shout out to Maryland, man, for real.
Georgia didn't score. DeMonte Williams didn't score. Trent Frazier didn't score. When you
saw Georgia going through it. You saw Georgia going through it over there during the timeout, man. Like coach had to calm him down. He was over there like kicking and throwing stuff, and they had to hug it out almost. It was tough. He was frustrated.
Yeah, the one thing I do like about this Illinois team is that they can show those emotions and get over it, right? Like we saw
facts.
We saw it in the Northwestern game, and we talked about it at the time. Was that Brad Underwood lit into them on the bench, got into them. They were down 15 at halftime, and he got into them, and they came out and that was the most dominant second half I think I ever seen, man. Have you ever been outscored 53-13 and a half? Have you ever gotten your ass kicked by 40 points in one half of basketball?
I don't know. I'm not going to say no because there's so much basketball I've played in my lifetime, and I've caught in so many L's, big ones. So I can't say no, but I can tell you when you're on the other side of those L's, they do not feel good. It's just it feels like this overwhelming of you can't do anything to stop this from happening.
So it happened. It happened to me once. One time I was beat as bad as Northwestern got beat against Illinois, and it was AAU. It was after my junior year. Yeah, we were playing at a tournament. I believe it was actually the hoop group event they had at West Virginia. It was at Morgantown. Remember when you used to be able to have hoop group events on campus?
Yeah.
And so our coach, the guy that ran my program, ran a program out of Connecticut, and he ran a program out of New York City. And he entered both of those programs into the tournament, but only two kids from the New York City team were able to actually go out and play. And so he's like, look, we're just going to play all the games. We're going to come down with one team, pretend to be two teams, and we're going to play all of the games.
That's that's actually fun for the kids, but at the same time, it's like you're setting it up. You're setting up for that home run for the other team.
Yeah, so we were like, this is awesome. This is a great. I had a kid. I can't remember his name now, but he came in because we wanted them to practice with us, so he stayed with me for 4 days. Some kid I've never met from New York. He ended up playing at Elon. Some point guard. He was awesome. He was really. I think his name was Jared something, maybe. I don't remember what his name was, but he came and he stayed with us for 4 days, and so we go to this tournament and. The only time that we get in trouble is for during the group play games. We got double scheduled. So we're playing the same time. we got 10 dudes. And so our coach was like, all right, we're gonna split this up. And one of the teams, they were called Rally's Finest. We had a bunch of guys that were between 6 foot and 6'5". Probably everyone played college ball. We probably had 3 or 4 D1 guys. So we were a good AAU team, but we weren't EYBL.
Yeah.
And so he split it up. So he took all of the D1 guys and put them on a team that actually had a chance to win. And then just sent the rest of us over to play up Rally's Finest that had they were starting a 7-footer that was shooting threes back in 2004, which was unheard of. Yeah. And so it was bad. We lost I think the final score was 94-24. It was completely overmatched. It was imagine taking an EYBL team and just putting up against some random public high school team from the suburbs of New Jersey. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's not going to be pretty. Imagine taking your Bloomfield Tech high school team and going and playing one of the worst teams at the smallest level of New Jersey high school basketball. It was a bloodbath. It was bad. Yeah, I didn't get dunked on those. That was the one.
That's always what you look for when the game's over. If we have I didn't get dunked on. No one kicked. No one specifically.
No one crossed me over.
You're looking for every little thing to negate that you were
for me. It was always if I got into the handshake line and the other team was hey, good shooting. Hey, good shooting. I was all right, cool. That's cool.
Exactly. I got the respect. Someone respected what I did out here. Good shit, man. Good job, bro. All right, appreciate it, man.
The best part is that so the other team that they were playing. It was called I think they were called Maryland 3D or something like that, or 3D, whatever it was. They had they were high level. They were the top team in that group. Whatever I don't know what the word for it is. And so we were trying. Yeah, the top one in whatever the group play they set up. They were the best team that was supposed to make it to the bracket play. Yeah. And so like we get a text as soon as we lose. They're like, yo, we're competing with them, but we just had a guy foul out. So we got 4 players. So we're like, oh shit. Yeah. All right, run to the other gym. We're gonna go help them out. Like it's our team. And so we get there and we're like, all right, yeah, sub us in. And they're like, you can't, you're not in the scorebook. So we had to sit there with the jerseys on and watch them with that. And they competed, man. I think they ended up losing by like 9 to a team that had a couple high major kids. Like they had no business competing with 4 guys on the floor. But yeah, that was the worst beating I ever took in AAU ball.